Hey, everybody. I've been having some terrible internet problems. I tried to make a Periscope, and unfortunately, the Periscope didn't work. So I decided I'd shoot one from home, and hopefully, it all works out for everybody. If not, I'll do a pre recorded video and just upload it to YouTube. I'm not sure what the hell is going on. Anyway, just a few more clarifications on my comments. Just make sure everybody's on the same page. Everybody understands. Internet bad. Internet make everybody have hard time explaining what we're talking about. So one more time. Here's the situation. As of June 19th, the rewards are going to run out for the ITN. We basically planned that. Now, what's happened is that the ITN is basically a full cryptocurrency. It's running since December, and it has 19,000 validating nodes. It's got 1,200 registered stake pools. Blocks are being made. And here's the reality. We don't control the ITN. It has full peer-to-peer. It's basically being run by you, the community, the stake pool operators. So whether we want to or not, if the community wants to let this thing keep living, it'll just keep living. Okay, that's what true decentralization means. You're no longer in control. You can't flip a switch and turn something off. So the rewards are going to run out on the 19th. And some of us internally have been saying, well, there's a lot of value to having a rapid prototyping chain where we can test a bunch of ideas as quickly as possible in the Rust side of the world and see if these work, or test alternative models like an alternative smart contract model, an alternative network model, maybe different monetary policies, different consensus mechanisms, like a variant of Ouroboros, whatever it might be. Like we have a private version of Ouroboros, Ouroboros Crypsinus, for example, all these kinds of things. And so far, we've been using the ITN as our testing bed for that. And what makes it particularly appealing is that people treat it like a real chain because the rewards are real for it. So as they are running out, we first have to make a decision of whether to keep running the chain or not. And that is a decision that the community is going to make. And they'll make it by just simply keep making blocks, keep making slots. And if you want the ITN rewards to continue until the hard fork of July 29th, then there will be a voting mechanism that is command line based that basically allows you to vote for a hard fork candidate. And that's built into the system itself. So if you leave your pools running, if you keep propagating the network after the 19th, no one tries to kill it, then we will submit a proposal for a hard fork upgrade, and we'll do it a few days later. And we'll make an announcement on how that's done and how you'd actually vote. Nicola or Roman or someone will basically do that. Okay. Now let's be clear about the rewards. The rewards don't come out of thin air. When we said, hey, the monetary policy of ADA is that there are 31 billion ADA in circulation, and there will only ever be 45 billion ADA. That means there's a delta of 14 billion, and that 14 billion are the unminted coins. Just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a distribution, and then there's 21 million potential coins. And so the difference between that 21 million and the current amount of Bitcoin in circulation is the stuff that is what's created every single 10 minutes when a block is minted. Okay. Same situation for us. So for over the last 6 months, all those ITN rewards are either going to the stake pool operators and the delegators or the treasury. It's coming from that pool of 14 billion, excuse me. So this is no different. If we extended an additional month, then basically instead of having 6 months worth of draw from that pool, we'll have 7 months worth of draw from that finite pool of 14 billion unminted coins. Okay, so no new ADA is being created. It's just saying we'll do an additional month of rewards. Okay. Second, there's not a vote to create a new token. If that was to occur, then it would have to make sense, and the token would have to have use and utility that is clearly different from ADA. So if that happened, what would happen is we would take something that we were planning on the DeFi side for its own token, maybe a stable coin or an Oracle coin like Chainlink or something like that. Instead of running it directly on the Cardano mainnet, we'd run it as a native asset or native utility on this prototype chain. So you can imagine things like governance as a service, or perhaps incentivizing use of Yella, whatever that might be. Or otherwise, this would be dilutionary, meaning it would just basically split the value of Cardano between two chains. So it would be Cardano plus a DeFi application or something along those lines, or a new utility. And basically it means you own both of them. So the sum of those two is still conserved value for the ADA holders. So this is not a vote to create a new token. This is not a vote to basically create a Cardano Classic. It's just a vote. Do you wish to continue the ITN at least for another month while we sit down and think about how could we create incentives for maintaining this longer term as a basically rapid prototyping chain with something at stake, similar to Litecoin to Bitcoin. Now, the reason why I bring that up is that there is a difference from a testnet and from what has happened with the ITN. People treat the ITN like it's real because there's real money at stake. People don't treat a testnet like it's real because there's no money at stake. Okay. And there's infinitely many of them. You can spin them up, collapse them down. So the consumer behavior, the game theory, the rational actor stuff is very different with the ITN than it is with a standard testnet, like the Pioneer testnet, for example. So there would make a lot of sense to have something that does have some form of incentive or value behind it that can be used as testing infrastructure, which is in some way separate from the Cardano main chain, because the Cardano main chain is like the chain that's secure and formal methods and basically has all of that rigorously tested stuff on it. And what we don't want to have to happen is a move faster, break things philosophy somehow compromise the security, credibility, and reputation of that chain. So it does make sense to potentially have a rapid prototyping sandbox. But basically what this is all about is saying it's coming to an end tomorrow. If you keep it alive, you're basically voting to keep a conversation around how do we achieve these ends. If you don't want it to keep alive, just shut your pool off. And if enough people, 2/3 of the pools, keep it alive, then we'll submit a hard fork proposal. And then anybody who has ADA, testnet ADA, can basically vote on that. And if 2/3 of the people, or whatever that threshold is that we end up setting, vote for it, we'll do the hard fork and basically just move those rewards over come July 29th when the hard fork is done with Shelley on the mainnet. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify all this with you guys so people understand what's going on and they don't go crazy about this and say that we're creating a Cardano Classic or creating a new token or this is some shenanigans. The ITN is already a full cryptocurrency. Whether we want to shut it off or not is actually not my decision because it's fully decentralized. So you, the community, get to vote on this and get to decide on this. If you have testnet ADA or you are delegating, running a stake pool, you actually can do something. So come tomorrow, you'll make that choice. Either turn it off or leave it on. And if enough of you leave it on, we'll write the code and submit a proposal. And if enough of you vote yes, then we will continue running the ITN. We'll honor all those new rewards that come from the ITN come July 29th. We'll move them out of that finite 14 billion. This does not change the monetary policy of Cardano. Right now, there's still only ever going to be 45 billion ADA. This does not change the reward function or any of the things on the Haskell side or any of the Haskell code. It's just saying we're drawing an additional month's worth of rewards from the pool that we've drawn from for the other 6 months that we've been running the ITN, and we're doing it for 7 months now. And it's basically an invitation for the community to explore how could we incentivize the existence of a rapid prototyping chain. And if we ever did want to turn it to something more, we do have the option of doing that. And likely what we do is move something from the DeFi side that makes sense into that and basically represent it that way. And by the way, you own both. Okay, so that's all I want to say about this, but I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're saying. This is just a situation where, you know, we have to make a decision, and the community itself is all over the place on it. Some people were considering basically a burnout where they spent all their ADA to try to bring the network down. Other people were considering forking it and doing their own thing with it. And so I said, all right, well, community, if you want to kind of kick the can down the road and see if we can make something of it by the end of July, then vote. And voting is pretty obvious. Right now, all you have to do is just keep making blocks as of the 19th. You will not get rewards for making those blocks. And if that happens for a few days, then we'll submit a proposal. And then after that proposal is accepted, rewards will restart. And all rewards that accumulate from that point on until July 29th will be taken from the reward pool, just like the last 6 months have been. Okay? Thank you, guys.